I work hard, and so does the whole staff, I think, to help students and the rest of us, really, myself included, to not take things personally. I think one of the most consistent things we do to ourselves that does great damage, actually, that keeps us from life and from love, is just that, taking things personally. We too often take things personally that simply are not. They're just not. But today, I'm going to ask you to do just the opposite. Today I'm going to ask you to take some things personally. Very personally. Because if you don't, if you do not, nothing will ever change. You and I have got to feel the pain of it. Something of the pain of our sisters and brothers in this human family who are oppressed, who don't have the rights we enjoy, who don't enjoy the way of life that we get to enjoy and the voice we have. You and I have to feel the pain of that, because if we don't, we will do nothing. And if we do anything, it will be for all the wrong reasons. Unless you and I weep for it ourselves because it hurts us, we will do nothing. We will do nothing to correct it, to fix it, to defend it, to work so that it happens to no one ever again. I love this question the Pharisees asked John the Baptist in the Gospel this morning. Why do you baptize? You're not the Messiah. You're not some great prophet. You're no one special, really. Why do you baptize? And his response essentially was, well, because I care about these people. And their life is awfully hard. They are poor and they are oppressed. They have no rights in this occupied land at all. John could have taken their questions personally. Who are you to do this? But instead, he takes the suffering of these people, of God's people. He takes that suffering personally. And while granted these awful things going on in the world are not really directed straight at us personally, in a real sense they are, because you are a part of the human family, as am I, and what happens to any happens to us. So that if anyone is treated unjustly, so are we. And if anyone is not respected, then we, you and I, are not respected. And unless we get that, we will just go about business as usual, and nothing will ever change. Nothing will ever change. When you look at an unborn life being taken, perhaps this time because of selfishness of somebody who just didn't want to suffer the life of that innocent one, or because that particular woman saw no other option for anything else to do and felt totally trapped, then maybe it's time to take that personally. Because if you agree that that life in the womb is really an emerging person, then somebody better the heck take it personally. Because she can't, that little one. She can't. Who will if she can't? When a young woman or man happens to be attracted to someone of their same gender, And that young man or that young woman is denied what everybody else in this chapel this morning can enjoy in life, just because of who they are. When they're mocked and ridiculed by their own peers, and when even their parents reject them, and they're literally tormented that if they tell their parents, they will be cast out, they will be rejected, or it will just hurt these people they love too much, and so they hide. Then I ask you to take it personally, my friends, that any human being has to suffer that. Take it personally that this year 2 million adolescents will attempt suicide, many of them because they're tormented by the truth that they might be gay. Take it personally, because then you might do something about it. Then you might stand between them and the harsh words of somebody else. And no, if it's you, I don't want you to leave the church over it. I want you to help the church get this. I want you to help the church and this society to figure this out. It's not going to be easy. But I believe with all my mind, soul, heart, and body that we can do this. We can figure this out. We can put it together. If we take it personally. When a person who happens to be born a woman cannot achieve the same privileges and the same impact of a person who happens to be born male just because she's a woman, then I want you to take it personally. I want you to feel that pain, because then you will act. And no, I don't want you to leave the church over this. Too many have. And it hurts too many. Because there's so much here, I believe, again, with all my mind, heart, soul, and body, that is worth our lives still, that can help us flourish as human beings and be our best and figure out what love is. No, I don't want you to leave over it. Too many have already. But I do want you to take it personally, even to the point of hurting, because we can change some things, you and I. We can open doors that have been closed and let women lead, however it can happen already. When a person, usually male and usually black, is sentenced to death for his crime and given up on, really, as awful as what they did was, and never ever been given a chance to convert or to make amends or to allow that right to life that every human being deserves, no matter what we've done, because we're more than what we do. When we play God over another human being's life, I beg you to take it personally, because then you might do something. You'll have to, because it hurts so much. I look out at so many here who are involved in some really great stuff in the cities, especially with education. So many of you help so many that way. I just hope it's not because it's some sort of guilt that you have, or because somebody talked you into it and you wanted to save face and so you would get involved. I hope it's because you took it personally and you want those kids to get an education like you did, and you imagine what it would be like if you didn't. I look out, one of you helped a whole lot to rebuild this church, raise a lot of money to help it happen. He served for a long time here, and he did it, he said, because in a real sense he took it personally, because when he was in college he slipped away from the church, and he knows how important it can be to stay. He doesn't know the kids that are going to walk into these pews into the future. But he got involved here at the CSC just because he took it personally. It's pretty amazing. When you witness people dying of AIDS, 16.5 million kids are going to be orphaned because of AIDS this year. When you go to bed, when you take it personally that 15 million kids will die of hunger this year in the world, that 10 million will be exiles from their homes. No home. When you take it personally that there's so many in our own cities who are living in shelters, there are so many in our own countries whose homes were destroyed by tornadoes and earthquakes, when there's so many kids being abused these days, I want you to take it personally. Because if you take it personally, if you let yourself feel it, you will act, and action saves lives. And if not lives, then maybe we could save one of their self-respect. One. So that they don't have to feel so alone in this world. So that they can feel like somebody cares. Because no one should ever live or ever die without knowing that somebody cares about them. Nobody. And maybe because you did, they won't give up. Or they may find their voices and raise them in protest on their own behalf, standing alongside of us. You see, if you follow this Messiah who Isaiah prophesied in the first reading, if you choose to walk in his footsteps, then it falls to us to help the poor to hope again. It falls to us to help the lame to walk again. It falls to us to help the prisoner be released from captivity, the brokenhearted to be made whole. Then we must start, if that's ever going to begin to happen through us now, to let ourselves take this stuff very personally. Granted, there are times and places where we are wrong to take things personally. That is usually when it's too much just about us. But there are times and places, my friends, where we absolutely should. And if we do, if we let ourselves take this injustice, this oppression, this suffering, this time personally, it can begin to change the whole world. I swear it. Because it has mine.